One of the most important things with attachment-focused parenting is understanding about boundaries and choice. So often people think that attachment-focused parenting is soft, that because we're not using behaviour, that then what we're saying is children get away with anything, we've just got to leave it. And it isn't. Children need really clear, firm, consistent boundaries, because the boundaries are what they can then kick against so that they learn they can trust you. So boundaries are there so that they know where the limits are. So if they kick against a boundary and that boundary is held, you're providing consistency. So what they take from that is, I can trust you. I can trust you to do what you say you're going to do. And therefore, I feel safe. So if you put a boundary and the boundary is, okay, so we can go to the playground and we can have 15 minutes. And you go to the playground and there's 15 minutes, and then they say, oh, no, I'm really enjoying this, I want more. Well, okay, you can have another 5 minutes. What the message is you can't trust me to do what I say. I've said 15 minutes. And it's also, you are showing the child that they can manipulate and control the situation. You give them 15 minutes and actually they know they can wangle it to 20, if not 25. So the next time it's 20, but then they might push it to 25. And so where does it end? And so boundaries are about making sure that the child then feels safe. They know where the limitations are and they know that those boundaries can be held. Now, if they kick against it, then again, it's about using pace to work with that. Gosh, I can see that you're not happy with that. I can hear how disappointed you are. Gosh, that 15 minutes went really, really fast. You were hoping to have another 5. Unfortunately, our time is up. Tomorrow we can come back. Today it's ended. And so holding those boundaries gives consistency, and therefore it supports the trust and that feeling of safety. As an adult, I know that I can trust you. As an adult, I know that you can keep me safe. Now, that then leads into choice, because with behavioural parenting, it's very much about we're telling them how we want them to behave, and then we're sort of punishing them when they don't do what we want them. So, we might take something away from them, or we might not reward them if they'd done what we wanted. So with attachment-focused parenting, we use choice so that what we're doing is we're helping the child to learn how to think for themselves. In behavioural parenting, we tell children what we want them to do, and then we tend to reward them when they do what we want them. The difficulty with that is that what then happens is that we develop children who are good at people pleasing and they're not so good at thinking for themselves. So when we use choice, it helps them to think about actually what's the best choice for me. So let me give you an example. Two siblings fighting in the car and arguing. So as the parent in charge, as the adult in charge, you might say, right, okay, there's a new rule in the car now. When we are travelling, there is no arguing. If you choose to argue, then you will choose to not have access to your devices after tea. If you choose not to argue, then you will choose to have access to your devices after tea. Let me know what you have chosen. So you are putting it firmly in the children's power and control. So when they start to argue, you can just simply say, I see you've chosen not to have your devices after tea, and leave it. Even if they then say, oh, no, I'm really sorry. The very moment you chose to argue was the very moment you chose not to have your devices this evening. Now, that means that you've then got to put up with them arguing in the car. But when you get home and after tea, when they're going for their phones or iPads or whatever, you can say, gosh, it looks like you're getting ready to go on your devices, and yet I'm afraid this morning you made the choice not to have them. And and use empathy. I feel really sad for you because I know how much you were looking forward to doing that. And yet I respect your choice. However, tomorrow you'll get another opportunity at making a different choice. And so what will happen is that they will learn then that, gosh, I argued in the car, and then the consequence that I chose is that I lost the access to my devices. And it's only for that evening. So then the next morning, getting in the car, just say, just before we go, can I just remind you, because I know it was sort of dropped on you yesterday as a new rule, can I just remind you that, the choice, you can choose to argue and you can choose to lose access to your devices after tea, or you can choose not to argue and then you can have the devices this evening. I'll leave it with you. And you may find it takes them several goes before they learn how to make a good choice for themselves, but they will learn. And what that does is take you out of the firing line. You're not doing the punishing. You are just respecting their choice. Please give it a try. Choices are wonderful.